Hey family, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Cut Nice 50, and this is one-on-one with Cut Nice 50. Hey, I'm just putting this quick intro into these two videos that I did. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the view, but it was a little bit of a copyright, so I don't know if I didn't talk long enough. But I appreciate y'all support, man. It's Thanksgiving, and I'm going ahead and editing these videos. Don't know when it's gonna be out. If they do copyright it again, I done seen other content creators doing the same exact video reaction off the view and plenty of other episodes. I will dispute it and see what happens from there. So I don't know if this video will ever make it out or not. I tried different avenues to try to get the video out there, and it had a lot of great information in it. On the first title of the video is called Stephen A. Smith shows what did he say? Stephen A. Smith saw Trump win coming from a mile away, and that was a view. I did a two-parter, and the second video was Stephen A. Smith on the minority vote for Trump and if he would run for office. And that was on the view. That was part two. The first one covers Trump. He's saying he saw Trump winning from a mile away. He goes into the different agendas on the left hand side, what he felt actually that the Democrats got away from their main talking points and what they want to do for the American people during the election. I already said the same thing. I don't see how anybody else personally could vote Democrat, but that was because I was raised Democrat until I educated myself on what was Democratic Party actually standing for and the results that came to American people as far as low income families and family division over the last, I say, 20 years. That was my main research points. And I couldn't no longer be a Democratic person myself. I'm more independent in nature itself, period. Just because of my background, just because of my professional football career, basketball, you name it, being an athlete. I do, I think Stephen A said the same thing. He's conservative when it comes to his dollars. He's not gonna ever complain about being taxed less when it comes to his dollars, where he does have a more liberal attitude on other things. So, with that being said, faith believer, I couldn't go with some of the Democratic belief systems when it comes to different policies and agendas that they got in place. Just personally, even though I don't hold no discrimination, no racism, or no judgment towards other people, the way they live their life, the way they want to, because it is their own life. We're all entitled as human beings to live the life that we want to live without, forcing other people to participate or do whatever the case. That's our own independent nature. That's what makes us unique. But when it comes to the right side, Republican side, I see a lot of the policies that I actually do like, but I'm neither or. I don't trust politicians or politics, period, when it comes to, I believe that the biblical views, I think that the people need to be governed themselves. I do believe in oversight and all the other stuff because y'all know my background, 25 years in law enforcement, DOD, DOS, et cetera, et cetera. But I am a biblical, a faithful person. So I do believe that the system itself is not meant to help the people survive or not really survive, to excel to the highest potential when it comes to division, stuff like that. I could not agree with politics, but I do believe in bipartisanship, meaning sometimes you don't see eye to eye, but you can work together on different things. The second video that Stephen A. Smith did was he saw what the minority vote for Trump. And he goes into different aspects that if he'll run, it'd be hard for him to pass up why the majority of the people actually voted for Trump. He goes into that, educating the View hosts about things that they lost touch of a long time ago when it comes to Americans. When the View makes all kind of crazy claims about Americans not being educated or not having the information to make the correct decision because they all votes for the left or they all are Democrats for whatever reason it appears to be that they are. Even though I don't believe that that's the case, I don't believe that certain things when it comes to. I'm not even gonna get into it, but like I said, I just wanted to go ahead and put this um, intro into this video. Hopefully it gets proved. Hopefully it goes through. But share your comments. Keep liking the content. Keep sharing the content. Keep helping us grow, man. Like I said, we're close to 3,000 subs, and we appreciate all y'all help. Everybody who's been rocking with us for a while, you already know I'm dedicated to health and wellness. I'm all about positivity. I'm never gonna down talk or downplay or negate somebody else personal beliefs, religious beliefs, sexual orientation and whatever your personal beliefs. And when it comes to anything involved in your life, it's not my job to criticize or to be judgmental to you above that. But I am going to be entitled to my own personal perceptions and opinions when it comes to different things, because that's what freedom of speech is. I don't believe in cancel culture, so I believe that you're entitled to say anything you want to say, and I'm entitled to say anything that I want to say. That's what always makes us unique. But we can still do that and have a constant debate or agree to disagree, doing it in a respectful manner. So I don't believe in negativity, period, and I kind of blocks it out or eliminate it. That's why I don't get into the foolery, as we call it. But I will call it like I see it. I know a lot of other, like I say, I'm a faith believer, but a lot of other biblical scholars or whatever the case may be, they are in charge or ordained, whatever they want to say, to criticize, judge, and do other things compared to other people. And the Bible does speak about these certain people. That's just not my forte. I'm a positive mindset person, so I know God made me a certain way for a certain reason. And I've been blessed to even still be alive. So I treat each and every day as a blessing, because I could have been gone a long time ago. Like I said before, y'all see me with the patch on. I just got through finished a major project, and I was gone 10 days. So it's all about creating more content, getting back into it, keep having it, like I said, the channel grow. It's all because of you that we're doing amazing things. We'll have some amazing interviews coming up. And then if I can get some of these health and wellness advisors and experts on the channel for an interview, I will be looking forward to that. Like I said before, y'all know it's nutrition the last 13 years. I do want to join RFK Jr.'s team. I have a whole segment dedicated to him, his life, his family's lives, his struggles, and what he's been trying to achieve. Maybe you know about it, maybe you don't know about it, what he stands for as an independent. He was a Democrat, but I'm gonna go into his old political beliefs, the struggles his families went through over the years, the sacrifices that his family has made for politics for Americans over the years. And it's just amazing. A lot of people often forget how his family, the impact they made on American lifestyle and livelihood. A lot of us forget about that, but he's been doing it over 40 years. And I think America had missed out on a great candidate and what he could have provided for the American people. But we that slid on the radar because America's not in a place to actually push independent president, as you can say like that, for whatever reason, the money, back in whatever the case may be. They don't want an independent president, I believe, because now you would be forced to do bipartisanships, and that'll help the American people. But that's my own personal belief. Hopefully this intro was not too overdrawn and too long. You can always fast forward the video to jump right into part one of the Stephen A. Smith, who saw Trump coming from a mile away, or part two, Stephen A. Smith, to the minority vote. So I put the same intro on both videos. So just feel free to fast forward. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for tuning in. I just didn't want a copyright strike on this video because I want to get it out there. I work hard on the video. I edit it, do everything else myself. And I just want to get back into it. But thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks again. And with that, we out. Hey family, welcome back to One on One with Cut Nice 50. Hey, another amazing video review for you. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. For everybody else who's been with us for a while, y'all already know what time it is. This is part two of the Stephen A. Smith on The View. The title of the video is called Stephen A. Smith on the Minority Vote for Trump and if he would run for office. And this is an amazing topic right here. Stephen A. running for office. I think he's more independent and conservative. I think it probably would be a good thing. Like I said before, he has a lot of information, insights on sports, but on people in general. So I would kind of like to see it, but I don't think he'll ever run for it. You know, he does what he does. I think he enjoys it. He loves going back and forth. He loves debating, all those things. But actually being an advisor or something like that, I probably could see it. But let's hear it from Stephen A. Smith. And stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump into this another amazing video review. Shouts out for all y'all who've been liking and commenting and sharing the videos, man. It's been amazing. We're on the road to 3,000 subs. Let's go.
You said you were, way back in 2016, before Trump ran for president, you were friendly with him because he's really into sports. And you said that the fact that he's a sports guy, which I didn't realize because I don't think of sports when I look at him, but yeah, I'm not even being snarky. I just don't think of a sports guy. Right. But you, on the other hand, I get, you said that being a sports guy helped him.
Well,
what did you mean by that?
Because what happened is that a lot of African Americans, Latinos, and others, we associated ourselves with him because he would host fights at Trump casinos. He would show up at basketball games and stuff like that. So there was a lot of things that he showed during his time as president that we never saw. Okay, and me personally, I was one of the few that had communicated with him in 2014. This is a true story, and I've said this publicly on several occasions. Donald Trump called me, and he wanted to purchase the Buffalo Bills. And the price tag was at about $1.4 billion at that time. He had about $1.1 billion. And yeah, that's what he said. That's what they said.
What he said.
I'm just telling you what they said, what I was told. And he called me and he said, I'm trying to buy the bills, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, whoa, Stephen A., them get in my way. I'm going to get them all back. I'm going to run for president. That's exactly what he said. And so when I tell this story to folks in the NFL, they say, so it's our fault. And I said, basically, I joke around about it, but obviously, you know, they felt the way that they felt. But he was a guy that really ingratiated themselves with a lot of different communities and what have you. So some of the things that we saw in an effort for him to appeal to his base, per se, we didn't see that, and we never got that impression from him. And the reason why that's so important is that when you've seen others come out, and dare I say maybe not in support of him, but they didn't excoriate him to the degree that others may have preferred us to do so on the left, we deduced it to he's saying whatever it takes to cater to that base to get himself elected, because he will do what's expedient. So if you show him that I'll get votes this way, he doesn't care. He'll deal with the fallout later. The objective for him is to win first and then address things later on. That's always been his MO, and that's what we've seen.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to what you said about black men being very comfortable with matriarchy, and I agree with that because, you know, black households are often led by a grandmother, black grandmother or black mother. However, 55% of Latino men voted for Trump. Why do you think that happened?
Well, I think that economically, they were looking at things. First of all, you got in this country, you've got Cubans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Venezuelans, Colombians, et cetera, et cetera. And if you talk to the Hispanic community, depending on who you're talking to, they think differently. The Cubans think differently than the Dominicans. The Dominicans think different than Colombians. To some, the economy was a priority. To some, believe it or not, it was the border. You had some folks within the Hispanic populace that were encouraging the borders to be closed.
They want to pull the.
But here's why that's so imperative. It's so important. Because we're not Latinos. They're telling you that's what we want. We have to stay online. We have to be online in order to get in. Who are you to bypass the line? And one of my friends, I remember he used this analogy, and I never forget this as long as I live. He said, you like Six Flags, Go to Great Adventures? I said, I have. He said, sure. Disney World? Sure, I have. Of course I have. He said, so you stand in line, It takes about 2 hours to get on some of these rides because they're that popular. He said, and right before it's time for you to get on that line, somebody jumps in front of you. What you gonna do? And he said that kind of mentality is how you have folks within the Latino, within the Hispanic community. Some of them, not all.
And I never thought about that. But share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I knew a lot of Latinos, they said, voted for them. I had the numbers up there. If I find the screenshots of the numbers, but it was majority women who voted for Trump. I hate to say it, but I know The View did an episode on it. Like I said, I don't do video reviews on The View, but they kind of scolded or made it seem like Trump was racist against Latinos when he was talking about Puerto Rico, the country itself, with all the stuff that they had going on over there. And Latinos took offense to it. And I guess Sonny is Puerto Rican, whatever the case may be, but they was literally getting on them, calling them racist, like normal. Y'all already know what it is, but it backfired. And now the percentage of Latinos increased because of that show right there. So they pretty much helped Trump get in there. But share your thoughts. Let me know. I didn't think about that perception of what Stephen A. is talking right here. He's been cooking lately, and he's still on fire. Let's go.
but some of them who view immigration that way. So again, when you think about the economics, when you think about immigration, those two things are what I have found has influenced the Hispanic vote one way or the other.
So the assault on Puerto Rico, calling it a garbage island, didn't really affect.
I think it didn't matter as much in Allentown and in Philadelphia, but like you said, I'm Puerto Rican, right? So the Hispanic community is not a monolith. I agree with you. And a lot of, I think, people that are of Hispanic origin from, let's say, South America or Central America, they're willing to close the door behind them instead of letting somebody else.
The other important thing to recognize is this, and I've said this often. When we look at the economy, I remember when Biden came into the office, he inherited about 1.5% inflation. It ballooned to about 9.1% before it ultimately came down to where it is now, right? That doesn't mean anything to minorities. The percentage of inflation, and here's the percentage. Nah. How much does gas cost? How much does the groceries cost, okay? How much does rent cost? How much does my mortgage cost? That's what folks pay attention to, what's actually in their wallet. And I often hearken to the sport of baseball in this regard. When you had people looking at numbers in baseball and they say, how come the black representation, how come the numbers are not larger? Well, historically, black folks don't trust the system. So if you can go into the NBA at the age of 19, if you got to do 2 years in college to play football before you go pro, well, in baseball, yeah, you can get drafted, but you got to go through AAA, double A, single A, that kind of thing, before you hope they bring you into the sport of baseball. Well, that's a time issue where I have to literally trust that you ultimately will see my progress and you will reward me accordingly. Don't know too many minorities that want to trust the system. And so when people speak, although you're right and righteous with your emotion and your righteous indignation, other people are saying we have the right to have righteous indignation when it comes to our pocket, or when it comes to our lifestyle, or when it comes to our environment. If we see crimes in the streets and stuff like that, we see homelessness and it's ballooned, we got a problem with that, and we don't believe this person is the answer compared to that. So what? They might have insulted a bunch of people. We don't like it, we hate it, but in the end, it's not more important than my pocketbook.
But you know what? But you know what? That doesn't mean that we should not continue to.
They don't get it. They just don't get it. They just going back and forth. That's not don't mean that they should talk about it. What she get ready to say, man? Like I said before, I used to love me some whooping, man. Sister Act, you name it. Grew up watching and supporting most of her films, stuff like that. But
need to educate ourselves to how our pocketbooks got to it. And that's the problem. That's what you were talking about. That fringe thing. If you don't know why your stuff is going, do your homework. But you know what? That takes time, and it requires you to commit to do that work to figure it out. And they're not going to do it. No.
You've been asked, I hear, about running for political office in the future. And some people have said that they could see you running for president. Would you do that? You think you qualify to run for president? I mean, the bar's pretty low anyway.
I do not.
Can you rephrase that?
I mean, I just think that the bar is really low because Trump really had no political experience and went from 0 to 100, right? He didn't start in city council and stuff like that. So the bar is low. Anyone can run.
I have said this on many occasions. The answer would be hell no, because I like my life. I'm living a pretty good life, but I must confess, I wish I could debate some of these guys. I'd love to be on a debate stage going up against these guys.
Don't say that, because we will arrange that.
And you know, I'm half joking, but I kind of mean it. I mean, I have no desire to be a congressional figure or a senator. But if it came to me and you told me I had a legitimate shot to win the presidency of the United States of America, I would definitely consider it. But here's the problem.
So you want to break through the line?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, absolutely. For that, yes, because others have. Okay, including Democrats, by the way. I mean, they broke the line. What's wrong with me doing it? But I would be independent because I don't like either side, and I'm not going to be bought and paid for. I'm going to do what I believe is in the best interest of the American people, whatever that may be.
That's me.
And that's what most people say when they run, and then they get in there, and it's like, hey, you can't make that decision without us. And it's like, well, where did you come from?
But that's because they're at the mercy of the pocketbooks on either side, because they know that it takes money to campaign, run commercials. Look at what Trump did in terms of the commercials that he was running against Kamala Harris. He spent millions upon millions of dollars, doing what he did. And you need the money in order to be known. But if I didn't need it, please, it was just us going on a debate stage, and let's talk about the issues that affect America. Name the time and place.
So listen, one of the biggest things you want to see taken out of politics?
Lobbyists.
Why? Do tell.
Because the politicians are bought and paid for on both sides. Well, look at the Democratic and the Republican National Conventions. Look at the Swedes. Who are in the Swedes? The billionaires. They're running the show. We all know this. And so, as a result, not to be disrespectful to our elected politicians, but to some degree, they are puppets. You have to succumb to the pockets of other people. They influence things. They're not giving you this money for nothing. And I don't want to do that.
I do want to mention one thing, because some people are calling this the podcast election, the outsized weight that people like Joe Rogan had and some of these other figures. Do you think it mattered, or was it a mistake that Kamala Harris had gone?
I think it was a huge mistake for her not to go on Joe Rogan. The man has over 17 million subscribers. He was going to have a say. He refused to endorse any candidate before he endorsed RFK Jr. Okay, we understand that. And when you know that Trump is going to do it, I really, really believe wholeheartedly that wherever Trump went, she should have gone. She should have been right on him saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right up your you-know-what. Let's get it on. She should have done that. But I don't blame her. I blame the people that were running her campaign. The Democrats tend to do this from time to time. Joe Biden wanted to run in 2016. You said it's Hillary's turn, okay? And then in 2020, it was Biden's turn, particularly after he was successful in South Carolina because Representative Clyburn got involved, et cetera, et cetera. The Democrats, I believe, make the mistake of trying to tell us whose time it is, as opposed to listening to the American people tell them, this is who we want. In 2008, Barack Obama elevated. It was supposed to be Hillary's turn. American people on the left said, damn that, it's him. We want him. And as a result, he was a two-term president. And if you're a liberal, you absolutely positively love Barack Obama, and he's one of the most popular presidents of all time, because the people decide, not the car. And that's right. In a great world, that would always be the case. But whenever there's money involved, it's our obligation to make the world great.
Well, that's what I said.
Have that influence, have that charisma. Don't be bland, don't be boring. Go out there and get it on.
And don't look backwards, look forwards, because you're going to fall down if you can't see where you're going. At least that's what's happened to me, Steve. You can listen to Stephen A. Yes, because I know him. So I forgot I had to be like an adult. You listen to the Stephen A. Smith Show wherever you can get your podcast. And you can see him every morning on ESPN's First Take. Plus, he will be joining Sarah on the Behind the Table podcast. It's a lot.
So I see why Stephen A. ended up going on the show. Like I said, he's doing a podcast with the young lady right there. I think that, I don't know if he's been on The View before, but it was an amazing video. I don't support The View. I can't do it. Just the stuff that come out their mouth. I love Whoopi. Always to be a fan of hers. I know when politics is involved, Stephen A. was calling out everybody on the show, even if they don't recognize it or not, saying they're bought and paid for. I don't even think they recognize he was talking about them also, because a lot of them is on the left, but they really live a conservative and independent lifestyle, but they're saying publicly that they're going for Democrats. But just like you, nobody wants to be taxed more on their money. That's generally what it is. But amazing interviews for Stephen A. Smith, man. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about that. He was cooking, man. Like I said before, I'm proud of this brother right here. I think it'll be hard for anybody if they can just get in there and they have a chance on winning the presidential election to turn it down, because they know they can actually make change in this country for generations to come. But I stand behind him that if he would run and stay an independent instead of picking a side, I'll actually vote for him. I don't think they need to go like Trump was forced to go Republican side, even though it was better than Democrat. Whatever the case may be, any party is better than the Democratic Party in my eyes, as it is right now. But I like RFK Jr. I think if he would have been there, it would have been even better than Trump. But I mean, Trump done make some changes. But if you actually looked at what RFK Jr. has to offer, man, when it comes to the health, and Trump hired him, so it's still going to be some amazing changes that come into play. I'm ready to do these videos on RFK Jr. Let y'all get a little bit of insight of what he would have brought to the table, what he stood for, especially when it comes to health, wellness, when it comes to protecting our drinking water, when it comes to indoctrination of kids, when it comes to the insurance rates for hospitals, when it comes to our nutrition level in the U.S. compared to other countries. There's a whole lot of stuff that RFK stands with myself. And it's going to have to be a major podcast. I'll probably have to break it down, do one on his background, on his story, on his family history. Then on the second one, there'll have to be a series of at least, I think it's a podcast I saved. It's like 4 hours long. So I'm gonna have to do either a 6 to 8 parter. It's gonna be the hardest thing I ever had to do when it comes to podcasts and segments and episodes, actually breaking it down. Because he has some amazing people talking about stuff that I'm passionate about when it comes to health and wellness, keeping people healthy, making us all live longer, quality of life, you name it. That's what I'm ready to go ahead and put out there when I have the time available to do it. So I'm waiting. I'm not going to rush it. But thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for joining the channel. Thanks for, man, we got some amazing interviews lined up, so y'all can be excited for that. Some more amazing video reviews and amazing content coming, period. So share your thoughts. We appreciate y'all for tuning in on the journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And with that, it's your boy Cut Nice 50. This is 101. We out.